Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best, recent, cutting edge, most important, useful, and effective, at least that's the hope, brain body tools so you could take better control of your thoughts, of your emotions, so you also get to know yourself better. And finally, so you could take better control of your actions, so you get to create and build and live the life that you were meant to live and that you truly desire, and it's gonna feel fulfilling and meaningful and happy and all those good things. You know, folks, for me, living a good life means living fully alive. Embracing every moment with its challenges and messiness and fuzziness and unpredictability, things that often, tickle our nerves and feel so uncomfortable. But all this makes us feel fully alive. And that's what I believe a fulfilling life is, when you feel truly present, truly alive. And believe it or not, it's so much in your control to be fully present, fully alive, to have a meaningful life experience. And it doesn't take years and months, even weeks. You can start living that today. More and more and more. And it all has to do with our skill to be more and more present for today, for right now, and to be more aware of who we are, of our experience and what we are going through right now. And this week, folks, we're going to dedicate our time. Today, we're going to talk about how to be that present, that alive, that truly living every single moment of your life. Because if you're truly living, if you're truly embracing and if you're truly present for the moment that is right now, this is where you learn the most, and when you experience the most, and when you have the most ability to shape, to create your life experience closer towards the most meaningful experience you can possibly have. So this week, Monday, today, we are dedicating, or whatever that day of the week for you is, we are dedicating to skills of building that self-awareness and presence and mindfulness that will unlock all of the other amazing, awesome, great things in life that you're capable of, that you truly deserve, that you're meant for. On Wednesday, we're going to talk more about mentors' mindset and how to coach yourself and others to change. What is the best approach from recent discoveries? There is so much going on, folks. I'm just listening to the podcast with professors and different researchers. I'm reading books by them, and I'm just blown away by how far we've come towards understanding of how our psychology works and how we learn and how we can learn better and how we can change better, so we could travel this life experience more and more uplifted. It's just fascinating. So I'm going to try to share this to the best of my ability, like the juiciest, the meatiest pieces that you can apply to your life, that you can start building this skill set that will help you again to shape, to create, to build the life experience that you truly desire, deserve, and that makes you feel fulfilled and happy and fully living it, right? So today is about presence and about mindfulness, those core skills. And folks, these are not talents. These are skills that you build and you maintain, kind of like a muscle in the gym that you build up with repetitions. And don't forget that muscle will go away if you don't keep training it. So the same with the skills of self-awareness and mindfulness and being present, which unlocks all the other experiences and transformations in our life. So today we're talking about that. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about recent discoveries about growth mindset, how to grow, how to develop, how to learn, how to become better and better every single day. And also how we can help others to change and get better, and how together we can grow better and faster. And these are things are not complicated actually as I'm learning. These are just a core of a few core habits, ways to communicate to yourself and to others. And when you practice them, you become much better at mentoring yourself and others through change towards better you and better others and world and relationships with others. And then on Friday, I'm very excited to share with you my learnings from the book Super Communicators by Charles Duhigg. And the book is amazing, and it talks about how we communicate effectively when we do, how super communicators, those folks that somehow either develop that skill of really great communication, or they absorbed it in their family culture or their social circle without really thinking much about that. But this skill of communication is taught and used in CIA special forces by folks who are negotiating people's lives and the destinies of different conflicts and countries. But then also they're very applicable to our lives, to build friendships and partnerships, and to create lifelong partnerships in all kinds of coalitions. So very excited about this week and what we're about to learn together. But first, it all starts, folks. Well, first I watched this video, the short video, 1 minute. It's on my LinkedIn. Connect Angela Shurina. I'm on LinkedIn. So the video with Oprah and Trevor Noah, famous comedian from South Africa. Now he does a lot of different kind of work besides being stand-up comedian, like does very serious interviews and news and communication about important causes in the world. So anyhow, he was talking to Oprah, and he asked her, well, Oprah, you talk to everyone out there who is successful. So what did you find is a common trait? Like, how do successful people get where they want to get? And Oprah said, successful people get where they want because they know where they go, where they need to go. So all successful people, there is zero successful people who are not self-aware, who don't know where they go. You cannot land by chance on greatness. Just never going to happen, folks. And it's going to take a lot of challenges. It's going to take a lot of obstacles. It's going to take overcoming a lot of internal struggles, self-transformation. That is, I would argue, the most difficult, challenging kind of work. And you cannot land there by chance if you are not driven by something in front of you. If you don't know why you do all this hard, all this challenging work, if you do all the why and how you do all these sacrifices for what? Like, successful people know where they go, and that's why they get there. Because over the course of 5, 10, 20, 30 years, if you're very consistent with a vision of where you want to go, where you want to end up, life will give you chances, life give you opportunities. And more than that, you will know how to make difficult choice. You will know what decision to make and what action to take that will lead you, or has the a possibility to lead you towards that vision. So vision comes first. That's how you get focused. That's how you get less distracted. That's how you get discipline. In fact, motivation is the reason of why. But why, it's also where. What makes your life challenges worth overcoming? Like, that's what all successful people have. They understand themselves. They understand what they truly want in their heart and soul, why it's important. And then when we are presented with a choice, people who already figured out their vision, it's so much easier to make a decision, to make a choice, and to say no to easy thing and do the hard thing, because we understand this is what I'm building. And that's why it's worth it. Worth working harder now to get closer and closer to that vision that I'm so passionate about. So Oprah said, successful people get where they want because they know where they go, where they want to go. And how do you know where you want to go? 2 practices that you need to start implementing in your daily life that will help you to understand yourself better and to figure you out. Because when you do that, the rest is going to be secondary and you'll be able to overcome all the challenges you need to overcome. So figure you out. So 2 fundamental practices that you need to incorporate in your days and weeks. Number 1, mindfulness. Now, you probably heard this word quite often, mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is actually a skill, a state of being present without judgment, of being here and now, not associating yourself with your emotions and your thoughts, but being an observer, impartial or almost observer of what is here and now. Mindfulness is that ability to get out of your own head, however difficult and challenging it might seem, but I often feel like I'm a puppeteer, that this body, this thinking and feeling process isn't really me. I'm more an observer of this player who I was given for this lifetime to experience this game we call life. And with mindfulness, you get more and more of that feeling, which is you are an observer. And yes, you're going through hard and challenging times, but it also feels that this is not, it's just your representation in this life of you, but you, your soul, whatever that spirit, we are not exactly sure of all the definitions, how it all works as humanity. But what you get with mindfulness and what I got more and more is that you become more often aware of the present moment, where you are, and also you become more dissociated with your feelings and thoughts, in a sense that it's what's happening to me, to my body, to my mind, but it's not me. I'm someone who is present for this moment of creation, for this body and this personality. And that allows you to evaluate, to observe, to figure your personality, your character out when you become more of an observer versus associating yourself fully with your feelings and thoughts, thinking that that is who you are. So mindfulness, it's the state, it's a skill of being present, of observing without judgment. And you can actually develop that state. It's a skill. And in research, as I recently learned from Michael Gervais, one of the top, if not the top, high-performance psychologist out there. He has different courses, and I went through a couple. And so he has this data and also a few practices that he recommends. So the data on mindfulness and how to develop the skill, current data, is that 8 minutes a day, just 8 minutes of mindful practice will help you to develop the skill, the state of this almost impartial presence, allowing you to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming one with them, being like more of an observer again than fully in your experience. So mindfulness, 8 minutes a day. And there are 2 kinds of mindfulness, mindfulness practice you can do. You can do mindfulness meditation for 8 minutes, let's say. You pay attention to your breathing. And there are so many also, folks, guided meditation. Headspace app. There is a Waking Up app by Sam Harris. There are different protocols on YouTube, free. And mindfulness meditation, it's at its core, there are 2 varieties. One is observing something either in your reality, like a candle flame, or paying attention to the sounds, or just looking in front of you and having this wide gaze, not really looking at anything, but just being present for what's happening. You can also pay attention to your internal state and feelings, to your breath work. That is a very popular one, breathing practice or breath work practice. You pay attention to your breathing and try to stay present for the whole 8 minutes, even though even masters really can do that. Like, your mind will wander, and that's okay. The practice of mindfulness, of mindful meditation, is ability to notice when your mind wanders and bringing back to that point of focus, like your breathing or internal sensation. There are also different body scans when you scan your body with your attention, so very often starting with your toes or with your head and going all the way down. Maybe just paying attention to different internal sensations, your muscles, your energy. So that is mindfulness meditation that you can do for 8 minutes. And again, there are so many different scripts and videos on YouTube. And again, the couple of apps that I try that are really good, Waking Up app and Headspace. And I also love Yoga Nidra, specifically protocols done by Andrew Huberman. Love them. They're 10 minutes, and that's also mindfulness practice. That is body scan. And then also the second kind of mindfulness practice is contemplative practice. When you pay attention to your thought process without becoming one with the thinking process. So you observe what thoughts come to your mind, and without judgment, without having to talk to them, you just observe them. And you observe the process of what's happening in your head. Again, without attachment, without judging, without having to discuss what's happening in your head. No, you just watch what's happening in your head. And that's how you get to know yourself as well. You see the kind of thoughts that come out, and you're like, and you might notice. And then after the meditation, like, I didn't know that was going through my head, right? And that will tell you a lot about what's happening inside of you and how you react, how you respond to reality, what's your internal state, default internal state, and perhaps what you can do to make it better, to serve you better. So those are two kinds of mindfulness practices done for 8 minutes a day have been shown to produce great effect when it comes to raising your skill of being fully present, fully aware. And that will help you to develop not so much then of a skill, but develop that self-awareness, self-knowledge. Because if you can't be present for what's happening inside of you, outside of your world as an observer, you can't really start understanding what it's all about and what it says about you and who you are and how you are and perhaps where you want to go and what your past and all of your life stories meant, right? So mindfulness, that's number one skill that you need to start getting into regularly every day for 8 minutes, as research says is good place to start. Whether that's single point meditation when you pay attention to something externally or internally, or more contemplative practice when you observe your own thinking process. Now, the second practice that will help you to deepen self-understanding, self-awareness, and the knowledge of self, which will help you to figure out your vision, your reason for living, why you're here, and what you want to achieve, what you want to create in this life. So the second set of practices has to do with self-reflection, and that is usually accomplished by writing. That has been shown to be the best form of self-reflection, of learning more about yourself and having the proper conversation with yourself, reflecting on your past, looking into your future and thinking about different scenarios that you could start working on. The more you journal, I started journaling when I was very, very young. My first book on self-development was by Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way. I remember when I picked up this book, I was with my mom. We were in Moscow at this beautiful bookstore on one of the major streets of Moscow. And I remember we were just going through different aisles, and I've always loved bookstores, and it's still like one of my favorite places to go for a date with myself, just to explore this vast knowledge that we as humanity have. So we were with my mom at that store, and I looked at this book, The Artist Way, and I read what the book was about, and the book was also beautiful, and I picked it up and I started journaling, because one of the daily practices there was 3 morning pages. And I absolutely love journaling, and since then I never stopped journaling. I always write. I feel like if I don't write by hand something every day, then something is truly missing. I also have this joke with myself that if I don't study, for example, you don't have to feed me, but I have to read, I have to learn, and also I have to express myself. Those are 2 core practices that I need to do. Even if I'm not fed, I still have to learn and I have to express myself. So anyhow, I started doing the self-reflection practice back then and never stopped. And I think that's why I'm so far ahead, seemingly, compared to a lot of other people who pick up journaling, usually midlife crisis or third or somewhere in their 40s, whereas I studied it when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And it feels like such a huge part of myself. And probably because of that, I have so much more insight into my own process of becoming myself. But then also it got easier to help other people to get to that place of clarity, like, who am I? And what I want from this life. So anyhow, I created a few reflection prompts that I share with my clients to help them to figure out in their transition time in their lives. So that's when they usually come to me, whether that's a personal transition or career transition or working on personal professional goal. So this time of transition, people feel like, yes, this is a time to start some sort of journaling process, some sort of self-reflection practice. And so I share with them these prompts that are easy to start, don't feel overwhelming. So they start writing and self-reflecting and get to know themselves, their story, so they can shape a better path into the future. So some of the prompts, and folks, feel free to stop the podcast at these points and do the exercise, or when you finish listening to today's podcast, rewind back and listen to these prompts. And also, if you want me to share these prompts with you, first of all, you can sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the show notes, and it will come as a part of automated emails into your inbox in about week 2, I believe, because I have like 30 emails that are automated that give you this exercise. So the link to sign up for my newsletter that has a lot of other like those key exercises for developing growth mindset or developing certain health practices and better habits, and then also to learn how to work more productively without wasting your time and attention. So all of this in my newsletter. The link is in the show notes. So let's get back to the prompts for self-reflection. And self-reflection, again, this is the second part of the skill set of developing the skill set of being self-aware and knowing yourself, knowing what you want. So just like Oprah said, as all of those successful people, you know where you want to get and you get there. Because again, step number 1 to getting what you want in life is knowing what it is you want. And to know what it is you want, you got to know yourself. And so mindfulness, the state, the skill of being present, of being aware of what is, and self-reflection, those are 2 sides of the same metal. And these practices, mindfulness meditation and self-reflection practice that is done through journaling, when you do them, both of them consistently, that's how you develop really solid self-awareness. You'll understand yourself, who you are, where you want to go, and what your journey behind you means. So you do this consistently, you develop this self-awareness, you start to clarify your vision and where you want to go in your life. And that's how you get there, according to Oprah, interviewed by amazing Trevor Noah from South Africa, where I am. So the prompts. In my relationships, and that can be family, friends, self, I'd like to develop, achieve, create. And then folks, so this is the prompt, right? In my relationships, I'd like to develop, achieve, create. And then you write the ending of the sentence, however long it can take you. One sentence, it can take you half a page. Start where you are, folks, whatever the easiest. The next one. In my career, I'd like to develop, achieve, create. And then you write. In my health, I'd like to develop, achieve, create. Right. The next set of prompts. My number one priority for now is. My number two priority for now is. My number three priority for now is. The next set of prompts. I'm 100% absolutely satisfied with and happy about. And you write. I'm in good shape with. And you write. I absolutely must improve. And you write. So this is just a few prompts that will help you to understand where you are and what you'd like to achieve, create. And you'll notice where you have gaps, where you're like, I'm not sure. And that's where you'll need to do more work. A couple of other exercises that will help you to develop that self-awareness, self-knowledge, and make better and faster decisions, make faster choices. You know, the beauty of our world is we have so much choice. Like you could choose to become almost anything. This is the beauty of our world. But also, that is the curse of our world in our era today, because if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know who you are, all of these choices gonna become overwhelming and you'll be stuck randomly jumping from one thing to another. It's kind of like being in an ice cream shop and with 50 or 100 of choices, and you've never tried none of those choices. And you also, for example, don't know at all what you like. And you'll be overwhelmed and you'll be paralyzed and you won't be able to make any choice. Of course, unless they give you to try, and that's why they do it. But the same kind of thing happens in life. If you're presented with myriads of choices that our world gives us more and more and more of, if you don't know the filter for the choice, and the filter is you understanding yourself, then you're going to be paralyzed by that choice. And you're going to be distracted and overwhelmed instead of feeling like there is so much freedom and I can become whoever I want to be. And the choice is empowering, but also without self-knowledge, self-awareness is very overwhelming. So a couple of other exercises, very simple ones to help you to figure out who you are. The exercises are about values. What are your values? What are the core guiding principles that you're going to stand by no matter what? I always recommend to use values as a guide, as a compass, when people are confronted with a choice they're not sure of. And I actually learned that from Brett Stulberg, the author of Masters of Change. So Brett Stulberg says that whenever you are not sure what choice to make the one that's going to move you towards your values. And that's what I recommend to all of my clients. And that's what I started using as well myself, because that is so true. Sometimes we don't really know what this or that choice means, but we somehow feel that this one actually is closer towards my values. Like, I don't know where it's going to end, but it feels true to my values, to who I am. But before you know what is true to your values, you got to know your values. And so the exercise, I share it in the Word document. It's on my Google Drive, and the link is in the show notes. So check it out. It's the exercise to help you figure out your core values so you can make decisions and choices so much faster and easier and still move towards where you want to go. So it's a tool of learning about your values and who you are and how you can navigate this journey of life. And the second exercise that is presented there, Strengths Finder, that one was shared by Michael Gervais, again, that top high-performance psychologist. Strengths Finder. And you register there, it's free. They also have upgraded paid versions, but you gotta understand, but you will be able to understand and learn about your strengths. For me, when I learned my core 5 strengths and my least kind of strengths, my weaknesses almost, it made so total sense. Like, for example, my strengths are love of learning, creativity, curiosity, wisdom, and zest, or that energy. And when I ask people, or people get to introduce me and tell someone else about me, that's exactly what they say. She's like this energizer, and she will also tell you every fact that is out there about whatever you want to know. Right? So when I looked at the results of the Strengths Finder, I'm like, yeah, that is me. And by the way, folks, when you know your strengths, then you know what to lean on during the times of challenges and how to also accelerate your journey. When you lean into your strengths, you'll feel confident, you'll feel invincible, unstoppable, and like the sky's not the limit. There are footprints on the moon, as Buzz Aldrin, that I met, by the way, and moon landing anniversary gala on one of my birthdays. But anyhow, that's his phrase, that his quote. So strengths, when you know them, it will allow you to chart the course of your life that will be more enjoyable and easier, and things that are challenging for other people, you'll find them easy to navigate, and you'll progress on your journey much faster. These are like your superpowers. You know, you're a superhero, and these are your superpowers to deploy when you need to make miracles happen. And then your the least kind of, your weaknesses, you can say, those are the ones where you might ask for help, or you might not put yourself in a position where you have to exercise a lot of them, because that can and will feel like a lot of struggle. And so knowing those strengths and weaknesses allow you to navigate the journey in a smarter way and progress faster and go on the right kind of challenges, and also ask for help in the right moments. So the link to the file where I share both resources for your values and your Strengths Finder, the link is in the show notes. So check it out. And in the show notes today, folks, you will find that link to figure out your values and strengths, so at least start unveiling them for yourself, which will bring you more self-awareness and self-knowledge, which will help you to chart the course towards your future, which will give you more chances to become successful. Because as Oprah said, successful people get where they want because they know where to go. And that's how you start getting to know where to go. And also in the show notes, the link to my new newsletter, Daily Tip for Your Best Self, daily tip that your best self will thank you for. So it's almost a daily. We're getting there with the consistency, and it will, this newsletter, give you these tools like prompts for self-reflection, or the best mindfulness apps and ways to meditate, or how to get your abs with the recent cutting edge research on habits building and the nutrition numbers that you need to track to have a chance to get to the six-pack abs. We also talk about the recent in the sleep science and how to improve your sleep quality, and how to get the most out of your sleep, how to manage stress, how to get focused, so many things. So the link to that absolutely free newsletter, a daily tip that your best self will thank you for, is in the show notes as well. And don't forget that on this podcast, I read to you a few prompts to start your self-reflection practice. So please feel free to rewind or you can also always reach out, Angela at brainbreakthroughcoach.com. I can send you this prompts to do self-reflection to your inbox as well. But again, this also prompts you can find in my newsletter that you can sign up following the link in the show notes. So that is for today, folks. We started talking about one of the most important set of practices which will help you to develop self-awareness, self-knowledge, so you are solid in where you are, who you are, what you want, which will of course change. Life is a journey, but certain things will not change. Certain core values will stick with you, or your strengths will be with you, or like that compass that always knows where's your North Star. They will guide you. That self-knowledge will guide you to the most fulfilling, alive, and meaningful life experience. So today, folks, you learned that in order to understand where you want to go, what kind of life you want to create, you gotta become self-aware. You gotta develop self-knowledge, and that is done by a set of practices. 2 core practices: mindfulness practices, and that is meditations, paying attention to what's happening inside of you or in the world, being aware without judgment of the present moment of what's happening to you or the world, and contemplative self-practice, when you observe without attaching yourself or getting into conversations with your own thoughts and emotions. And then also self-reflection practice, basically journaling, writing about your emotional experiences, about your future, about your past. So re-listen to this podcast episode to again get into understanding of what self-awareness, self-knowledge is, and why it's so important to chart the course of your successful life. Hope this podcast was useful. Don't forget to sign up for your daily tip that your best self will thank you for. The link is in the show notes. Also in the show notes, you will find the link to the exercise to determine your values and your strengths. And what else? That's it for today, folks. I hope you're going to have more aware and reflective kind of week. Chart the course ahead. You have all the resources to create the life that you want. The only thing you can understand now is what it is you want. So happy self-discovery, and we'll talk again very soon.